This video provides a walkthrough of how to create this effect where you go on a page and the tab for the page that you are on stays highlighted. So you got the rollover effect, and then when you're on the page it stays highlighted. So how to do that requires a few steps, and this is something that we have not covered yet at all. It will use a technology known as jQuery, which we will touch on again later in the semester. jQuery is a script, and the script will, or a framework that allows different interactivity to happen. And in this case, we're just concerned about being able to create this one little thing. jQuery does so many different features. There's a lot of different plugins you can put into your website that are jQuery driven. jQuery typically utilizes what's known as a jQuery framework, sort of the foundation, and then the base of the script, and then there's usually individualized scripts written that tie into the jQuery framework. So if you wanted this to happen, for instance, you take what jQuery has available and you just write a script that makes this feature kind of activate. And I'll show you how we did it. I'm explaining it very loosely. But jQuery is a thing that gives us a ton of power on the web to do things that normally would require custom coding. There's a lot of features out there that are jQuery based. This is a super simple way of working with jQuery, what I'm about to show you. And I'm just going to show you how it works on this particular site. I will show you where to get the jQuery framework and where to put it on your site, and then how to get this little feature going here that we see on this particular example. There's so much more that we can do with it. Later in the semester I'll be showing you how to set up a photo gallery using jQuery, a plugin based off of the jQuery framework. So let's get to it. First, this site is built in Dreamweaver, hand-coded like you're learning to do in this semester. It has a template. The jQuery framework has to be put in the Dreamweaver template file. I will show you where to get the Dreamweaver framework in a minute. I'm not looking at the template. There we go. The template is calling in the jQuery framework. This is an older version than I'll show you how to get in a minute. And it is saying, there's this little thing here, this dot slash. It is saying, call it in. It's a folder. Dot slash means go up a folder from where this Dreamweaver file is and pull in this file. So a lot of times I like to keep scripts in a script folder. In this case, we just have it sitting in the root. So it's saying dot slash. Now if you had it in a scripts folder, it might look something like this. Go up a folder, then go into the scripts. That's what this is saying. Go up a folder. So go out of templates into the root. This is the root. Find the script folder, which we do not have one in this example, but if we did, and this is how I'd like you to do it, and then inside the script folder find this file. So we'll leave this as it really is. I don't want to break anything. So first we have to get that jQuery file. And let me just set up a little example here of what this might look like as far as how the download would look and that kind of thing. Okay, so I have my site folder, and in here I created a folder called scripts. You see I have a templates folder in here as well. So you can go to jQuery.com, and when you do that, you can then choose download, and you can get this, which you can work with, but it's a little sticky to do that. or you can just go to the download page by clicking this, and you can get this jQuery minified. And I would say that this is probably the easiest way to grab this, so just right click on the jQuery minified link and save link as, and you'll get this jQuery in this case 1.8.2.min, and that'll be fine for what we're doing. I'm going to go to my site folder, into scripts folder, and I'm going to save. Now, when you're doing a jQuery, like if you get a jQuery gallery or something like that that you want to use, a lot of times the framework that works with that particular, with what the developer was doing, it's already included. But in this case, since we're really going to be writing something from scratch, so it's only a few lines of code. So this time we had to go to the framework. But there's all sorts of information on jQuery here. The more friendly you are with scripts, the more you can benefit from this site. I usually don't deal with it. I don't need to. I go find what I want that someone already built and I download that. Once in a while the instructions will say go get the latest version of the jQuery framework, and I do, and this is where I go. So let's get over here, and now in a different video I created a silly little template that looks like this. It does nothing, but in this template I just want to show you like how to work with the script file, how to bring, how to just connect things, and we'll go back over to that example, this example here where I'll show you how things actually work. I just want to show you like, okay, if I'm actually going to do this, what does it look like? Well, first you download that framework and you put it into your scripts folder within your site folder. Okay, so that's where it is. Next, you open up your template file and you go to code view, and then up here you are going to, in the non-editable area, you are going to, so like right after your title is a good place to do this. You're going to do less than and type script, and then the type of script, in this case it is text/JavaScript, and then your source for your script, and then browse to your script, and you're going to choose this, say OK. And then you're going to do greater than, and then you have to, in this case, we're not going to put anything between the opening script and the closing script. So you actually have to go and close your script out up here. It's just setting the framework. It's calling the framework into all of your pages that are based off this template. So that's the first thing. I'll save this. It'll say this template doesn't have any editable regions, because I was doing an example earlier that didn't have editable regions. Normally you wouldn't get that message. You would just get the message that asked if you wanted to update the files that were based off the template. Now, in your template, in order to make this work, you will need to put in an editable region, and I would say to put this editable region in right before the closing body tag. So just like in the template video, I'm going to go over here to my insert tab and my insert panel, and go here where it says templates, make sure I choose editable region, and then I'm going to call this, we're trying to affect the navigation, so I'm just going to call this navigation dash jQuery. So this little editable region is down here way after all the visible stuff. So no one will know that it exists. Like if we look at this, you can see it's here, but when we render the page, no one will see it. And that's so we can put script in here. So on all the pages now, I'll save, and it'll say, do you want to update the template files? We'll say yes and close. on all the pages now. So in this little demo here, I just have an about page, and I don't know what else I have in here. Maybe, oh, there it is, a home page. So they're based off the template. And if I look at the template down at the very bottom, right before the body tag, there is instance begin editable. And you can find it by just clicking on this when you're in design view, by just clicking on this on the blue editable region tab. Just click on that, go to code view, and here's where we can put in the code we need. Alright, so the code, I'm going to put the code in, or a version of it that's actually on that site that I'm showing you. The code looks something, it depends on what you're doing, but it's going to look something like this. I'm going to hit enter, paste, and it's going to begin with the script. So you may need to pause this video and copy what's going on here. So I've got script and type equals text / JavaScript, and then I'm going to close my script tag, and inside here is where we can tell it what to do. So this editable region is only on the index page, and what this is saying, and it'll make more sense when we look at the site that has it on, but this line right here you will have to put in. It's saying, okay, when the document's ready, do this stuff. So you'll need this no matter what you're doing, and it's very context specific. $, parentheses, document, close parentheses, dot, ready, open parentheses, function, open close parentheses, curly brace. And then you have to finish this little function, which is closing your curly brace, closing your parentheses, and a semicolon. Okay, and then inside there are whatever commands we want. So I just put this code in here from that other site, so really what we have here won't make sense for what we have going on this page. But what is happening here is I'm saying if you have a list item on this page only, because we're in an editable region, and if that list item happens to have an ID of resources, then write this CSS, give this list item a background image. So now you're doing CSS stuff, background dash image, and then the URL for it, for that particular background image. If the list item on this page has an ID of resources, same as up there, we want to put in another CSS rule of background repeat, no repeat. And lastly, if on this page we happen to have a link that has an ID of resources, that's inside, sorry, an ID of resources, inside something that has an ID of main nav, give the font a color of white. So if that were true on this page, then that's what would happen. And so this is how you can do some unique CSS just for a particular page. So if you wanted to change a background image, you wanted to change something about your nav, which is what this is, and I'll repeat this whole thing that I just explained. That's how you do it. Is you say, well, on this page only, if there's something with this particular ID or class or whatever, do this special thing. So what you have here is the selector, li pound resources, and then you have the thing that would happen, normally in your CSS rule, background dash image, and then in this case, the background image, you got to call it in URL. Here we have background dash repeat, and then no repeat. This is the selector, an anchor inside of something identified with an ID of resources, inside something with an ID of main nav. Give that a font color of pound FFF. I could do other things. I could say give it a background color, which would be maybe instead of background image, I would do background color, and then I would put in my color here. I could give it a different font size, any of the specs that we have for CSS. Like I could say, well, in this particular instance, I want the body, since we know, whoops, I want the body to, we'll just say, in this case, I would like the body to have a background color of black, sure. And so we're telling it to override what's already there. And I don't know in this case if this will actually work or not, but we can see. It may not win out over that. No, it didn't. Because we have other code in there that is working along with everything else. So this may not be specific enough, but we can keep playing with this and get things where we want it. Like this is very specific, which is why it works. li pound resources and that sort of thing. It works on the site that it's designed for. So you can start to modify things. So, you know, this just equates to anything that you would have in here, like wrapper. Well, you want to make sure, like you just saw, like that body thing didn't work. But if we had something that wasn't already specified in here, then that's what's happening. Is this is a specific rule that's only specified down in this code, and we're saying background color of black or whatever the case may be. So you have your selector, and then you have your CSS rule. So you have your declaration block is right here. So background color, background repeat, font weight, any of the stuff you've been doing, width, height, and then the value that goes with it. So the color, the no repeat, whatever the case may be. All right, so let's go back to the site that actually has this working. I'm going to get rid of all this. I just wanted to show you, okay, how do you get this started? Where do you put things in? You have to have you know, the editable region down at the bottom of each page so you can put in just special code on that page. So we're back over in the site that that has this working. So I'm just going to go through this again. So it's the resources page. And what's happening with this code is it's making it so we have this particular background image continues to show when we're on resources. So let's look. First off, the template has that script that I told you about. So here it is. This is a jQuery getting called in on the template for the site, the template file. And then down here we have a couple of things happening, but we have this editable region that I told you you'd need to put in right before the close body tag. This is something unrelated right here. This is on every single page. See, we have template and editable. So this is a Google Analytics script. We can even just delete that for the moment so you can see what's making that tab happen. So here we have an editable region, and then we have the script in here that we just put on the template initially just to test it, but this would not be on most of the pages. It was just here when we first set this up just to see if it would work on, in this case, probably the services page. Okay, so you got your editable region that you can work with right before the close body tag, and I'll put back our analytics script and not save anything. There we go. And then we are going to now look at the resources page. And all we care about on the resources page is, okay, we want to affect this navigation item right here, this resources one. So let's go down, and it's not editable. We've given it an ID in the template. So it is right here. And you can see that this is that resources item on the main nav. It has an ID of resources. Okay. So we're saying on the resources page, this LI that has an ID of resources gets to do some special stuff. And it's happening down here in this editable item. So instance, begin editable, that's what we put in the template. And then we have the script in here. We begin script, close script. This is exactly what I've been showing you. And we say, okay, if the list item has an ID of resources, which we saw that it does, Then write this CSS, please. And the CSS is, or impart the CSS onto the document. We have background image, URL of the background image. Again, the same list item with an ID of resources, a background repeat, no repeat. And then if there's a hyperlink inside, if there's a, sorry, I shouldn't say hyperlink, if there's an anchor tag inside something with an ID of resources, inside something with an ID of main nav, change the font color to white. And then, this thing that says start the function gets closed out. The script gets closed out. And that's all within this editable region, which, we can see right here. Here's where the editable region is, just like I showed you on that little example. So if I click that, then I can see where that editable region is, so I can put this code in. If you would like to copy and paste a sample of that, you can go to International Bookkeeping and Accounting. The site is still currently live. And you can go to like the resources page or the services page, and you can go to view source, and down at the bottom. So the only code I'm talking about is that bottom stuff, that, the custom script. You could grab from script to script right here and just get a sample of it instead of typing it by hand. The editable region thing, you don't want to copy that. You're going to want to go put that actually in your template on your own the way I showed you. Don't copy that. But this stuff right here, if you just want the syntax for this, you can go ahead and grab it here. As far as getting in the jQuery framework, I showed you how to download the most recent version, how to put it in your template file. Now, I expect you'll probably need some help with this, so, give it a stab and then ask me for help if you get stuck. So if there's something you're like, well, I don't want to change the background image. I want to do something else to the nav that's unique on that particular page. Show me what you're doing and maybe I can help you out. But that's how this is one way of getting that effect.